Is it visible? Yes, okay. So this is the equilibrium diagram or a phase diagram for the iron carbide. So it is said as equilibrium diagram. Why? Because whatever the phases present in this equilibrium diagram or a phase diagram are at a equilibrium at given temperature and for the given composition, because you know that the phase diagrams have on x-axis the different percentage of composition present in that alloy, and on y-axis temperature is there, and in between that diagram, so different phases present for particular temperature and for particular composition, all phases are present in that diagram. So that's why we are calling this as a phase diagram, and also it is called as equilibrium diagram because whatever phases present here are under equilibrium condition. That's why we are calling this as a equilibrium diagram. That's why we are also calling it as a equilibrium diagram. So here we are studying the iron carbon diagram, iron carbon diagram, because on 0% or on extreme left side, if you observe, there is a 0% of carbon present in that iron carbon diagram, and on extreme right hand side there is 6.67% of carbon present at extreme right hand side. So that 0% and 6.67% represent the carbon percentage inside the iron. Whatever extreme left side you are observing, that is a pure iron. That means 0% carbon and 100% of iron is there. And on extreme right hand side, 6.67% of carbon, and remaining out of 100, that percentage will be of iron. So at this 6.67% of carbon present in the iron will give you iron carbide, that is Fe3C. Whatever here at extreme right is written at 6.67%, I will try to darken it. So whatever this is represented 6.67 and Fe3C, that Fe3C is nothing but iron carbide or iron carbon. It is also called as iron carbon or iron carbide. So that's why this diagram we will call it as iron, because on extreme left hand side it is a pure iron and extreme right hand side it is iron carbide. So it is a iron carbide phase diagram or iron carbide equilibrium diagram. And in between those two vertical lines, whatever diagram is there, that is a phase diagram that represents the phase diagram, different phases of the different percentage and different temperature, because this vertically different temperatures are represented here: 210 degree temperature, 267 degree temperature, here you can say 227 degree temperature, here 1147 degree Celsius temperature, here 1400 degree Celsius and 1539 degree Celsius temperature. So all these are temperatures in degree Celsius, versus on x-axis there is a percentage of carbon. So here 0% of carbon, 0.08% of carbon, 0.08% of carbon, 0.8%, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 4.3%, 5%, and 6%, last 6.67%. So all this percentage of carbon, all these temperatures, whatever I have darkened, so all these things are very, very important in that phase diagram, because at that percentage of carbon only and at that temperature only, different phases are occurring. And these phases, whatever phases we are going to study, so these phases will be under equilibrium condition. That means they are having constant phase, either liquid or solid or liquid plus solid, whatever will be there. So these will be under equilibrium condition. That's why this diagram we are also calling it as equilibrium diagram. Now you just observe this vertical line of 0% of carbon, 0% of carbon, that means 100% of iron. If 100% of iron is there over that vertical line, So iron, you may say that it is only occurring in the solid phase or liquid phase, but yes, it is occurring in the liquid phase whenever we have heated it above 1539. So this is the melting point of that iron. Above that temperature, that iron will be in the liquid phase, completely in the liquid phase. Above this point of 1539, so there will be, above this K point, there will be liquid of iron, and below this it will be in the solid form. But that solid form is also having some different phases, and those phases we will study first now. And those phases are alpha ion. Here I have represented this as by alpha. One more phase is represented by here gamma. One more phase here represented by delta. So alpha, gamma and delta. So this first phase I will call it as alpha ferrite. Alpha ferrite. In the words you can say here it is alpha ferrite. So here it is called as alpha ferrite. Secondly, in that diagram you can observe. Secondly, gamma. So that gamma is called as a gamma austenite. Gamma austenite. And third, delta. That delta we will call it as a delta ferrite. Once again, alpha ferrite, gamma austenite and delta ferrite. Alpha, gamma, delta. Alpha phase will be there whenever you increase the temperature of that solid iron from 0 degrees Celsius to 768 degrees Celsius. हे फक्त आपण कशाबद्दल बोलतोय? Only for the pure iron. Only for the pure iron, 0% carbon is there. For pure iron, different phases are occurring: alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Like that, 4 phases will be there. But we are observing in the iron carbon diagram only these 3 phases. Importantly, alpha, gamma, and delta. Alpha, gamma, and delta. So alpha phase of iron is called as alpha ferrite. Gamma phase of that iron is called as gamma austenite, and delta phase is called as a gamma ferrite. To understand what is this alpha, gamma and delta, so these are phases of pure iron present at different temperatures. So up to 768 degrees Celsius temperature, alpha ferrite will be there. That iron we will call it as alpha ferrite. From 768 and above, up to 1400 degrees Celsius, up to 1400 degrees Celsius, that phase of that is solid phase only, but it is having different microstructure. That's why it is having different structure. That's why we are calling it as a different phase, and that phase is called as a gamma iron. Above this 1400 degrees Celsius to 1539 degrees Celsius, whatever phase of iron only we will get, that iron phase is called as a delta ferrite. That phase is delta ferrite. So these are the 3 phases of iron present for pure iron, and that is represented on the first axis, y-axis, at 0% of carbon, 100% of iron. That must be known to you. Some more information regarding these 3 phases of iron we will take. So alpha ferrite is an interstitial solid solution of carbon in the low temperature of BCC alpha ion. So you can observe here. So alpha phase I have represented not only for this vertical line, above or next to this vertical line also, as the percentage of carbon is also increased from 0.008 to 0.025 here up to this A1 point. Whatever phase here you are observing, or whatever this small gap you are observing, there you are getting the alpha ferrite. That means small amount of carbon if you add, that is 0.025 also, and temperature below 768. So there also you are getting this phase, and this phase is nothing but one kind of a solid solution. That's why I have given here or written here, it is also a solid solution of carbon inside the iron at low temperature. The temperature low as compared to other phases. because at 678 we are getting alpha. Above this 668 to 1400 degrees Celsius, we are getting phase of that iron as a gamma austenite, and above this 1400 to 1539 we are getting phase delta ferrite, isn't it? And that delta is far above. Gamma is also far above. Alpha is only for the low temperature, that is 768, up to 768. That's why here in that definition it has said at low temperature. So alpha ferrite is an interstitial solid solution of carbon in iron in the low temperature having the BCC alpha ion structure. So BCC structure it is having, that means body cubic centered structure. So I have already tell in the first sentence only, that means on this vertical axis 3 phases of iron are there, alpha, gamma and delta. त्या तिन्ही सॉलिड मध्ये जरी असल्या तरी those 3 phases are having different microstructure, that means different structure. That different structure is nothing but this alpha iron is having BCC structure, body cubic centered structure. Gamma iron is having FCC structure, face cubic centered structure, and delta iron is having again BCC structure. So alpha and delta are having BCC structure and gamma is having FCC structure. Mag here delta and alpha, what is difference? So in that delta and alpha, the difference is alpha phase you are getting at low temperature and delta phase you are getting at a high temperature. Delta phase of that iron you are getting at a high temperature. Structure is same, alpha and delta. That alpha you are getting BCC structure, delta you are getting again BCC structure, but it is at low temperature, it is at high temperature. Right. Next, again, whatever phase alpha iron is there, it is very soft and ductile, and hardness is equal to 40 BHN. Soft and ductile, hardness is up to 40 BHN, and it is a strongly ferromagnetic up to this temperature, that means 762. Strongly ferromagnetic. Ferromagnetic means it is having good magnetic properties, and above this temperature this becomes a paramagnetic. Paramagnetic means non-magnetic properties it will start to achieve. Ferromagnetic means it is having good magnetic properties. Paramagnetic means non-magnetic properties are started to achieve. So up to this temperature, that means alpha ferrite is having a ferromagnetic properties, and above this it will be having paramagnetic properties. Understand? That means up to this temperature, whatever phase of iron will be there, that is having good magnetic properties, that is it is a ferromagnetic. And this delta iron, although both are having same structure BCC, but delta iron will be having property paramagnetic. That means it is a non-magnetic property, that is a paramagnetic properties it will have. Understand what is the difference between these two? Although structure is same in alpha and delta, but those are having different magnetic properties. Alpha iron will have the ferromagnetic properties, and delta iron will have paramagnetic properties. So that we will see in that. So next point, this temperature 768 degrees Celsius at which ferrous becomes paramagnetic, it is called as a Curie temperature. Important point for multiple choice of question. So Curie temperature, which temperature in that iron carbon diagram we will call it as a Curie temperature, because above this temperature, whatever dotted line I have shown, see here A2 temperature, inside bracket I have written for 768 degrees Celsius. One dotted line also you can observe here. So this temperature, you observe this dotted line. So this dotted line is having some importance in that phase diagram. High importance hai. So this line we will call it as a A2 line. So above this line, the phases of iron or iron carbide are having paramagnetic properties, and below this line, dotted line, whatever phases we will study, so all these phases will have the magnetic properties, good magnetic properties, that means ferromagnetic properties, and above this all will be having paramagnetic properties, isn't it? That's why this line is having importance, and this line is called as a Curie temperature. This temperature we will call it as a Curie temperature. Understand, this temperature we will call it as a Curie temperature. So understand what is alpha ferrite. Next is a gamma austenite. Gamma austenite. It is an also one kind of a solid solution of carbon in FCC gamma ion. So I have already tell you that whatever gamma iron is there from 768 degrees Celsius to this 1400 degrees Celsius, pure gamma ion will be there, and here this gamma iron will represent the solid solution. That means some amount of percentage of carbon will also be there in that gamma, so that it will become a solid solution. So this is a solid solution, interstitial solid solution of iron in carbon, of carbon inside the iron, and that gamma austenite will have the structure FCC, बाकी कुठले होते, delta and alpha both are having BC structure, but only this gamma iron will have the FCC structure. Again, it can dissolve up to 2% of carbon at 1147. So that we will see further. The phase is stable only above 727, and it is again a soft, ductile, malleable, and non-magnetic phase. That is nothing but a paramagnetic phase. We have seen up to this point now that on this vertical line, different phases of iron you will get. There is alpha, gamma, and delta. As we move from this 0% of carbon to 6.67% of carbon, we will get different phases, and that phases we need to study. We have just seen now alpha and gamma only. We will see delta ferrite. Delta ferrite is also an interstitial solid solution of carbon in the iron only, but at high temperature, and it is having BCC structure. Alpha and delta मध्ये फरक एवढाच आहे की it is at a high temperature. Structure is same, BCC structure only, but it is at a high temperature. Okay. Again, one more difference, that is it is a less ferromagnetic. That means it is a paramagnetic, isn't it? Similar to alpha ferrite, except its occurrence at a high temperature. It is occurring at a high temperature, and also it is a non-magnetic. That means it is having paramagnetic properties. Okay, so you understood the three phases of iron. Now inside that iron, if you add the carbon percentage in small percent, so initially if you add 0.008% carbon, so it is called as an alloy, because alloy definition तुम्हाला माहिती आहे. If two or more metals are added in fixed proportion, then it will be calling it as a alloy. So after this 0.08, we add 0.8% of iron, 0.025% of iron, here 0.1% of carbon, 0.18% of carbon, 0.55% of carbon, here 0.2% of carbon. Then next important percentage is 4.3% of carbon, and lastly 6.67% of carbon. So these percentages are very important. 0.008, 0.8, here 0.025, here 0.1, 0.18, 0.55, 0.2, again 4.3, because this point you are getting, this phase you are getting at 4.3% of carbon, and 6.67, because this vertical line, whatever regarding the phases is there, that we are getting at 6.67. Now somebody may ask, why not above this 6.67 percentage of carbon you have added in the iron? For oral also, there may be question asked to you, why in iron carbon diagram only the percentage of carbon is added up to 6.67%? Why not 7%, 8%, 9%, up to 100% of carbon? Why not equilibrium diagram like that has drawn? Why only up to 6.67%? Because see here, if you are adding some solvent, if you are adding some solute inside the solvent, because you know that in solid solutions, we have seen the solid solution in first or second lecture, there if you are adding the solvent inside the solute, so there may be some point at which that solution will become saturated. I will take one more example of if you are adding the sugar inside water. You try this. If you are adding sugar inside water, after particular point, that sugar will not dissolve in the water. It will start to accumulate at the bottom. It will start to accumulate in the bottom. It will not dissolve thoroughly or homogeneously in the water. That is nothing but saturation point of that water to dissolve the sugar has achieved, and whatever amount of sugar extra you are adding, that will accumulate at the bottom. Isn't it? So here also the saturation point of that iron to accumulate or to add the carbon has achieved at 6.67%. Above this, whatever carbon you will add, it will just accumulate in the iron. It will not homogeneously mix with the iron. So that's why up to 6.67% only the carbon percent, I am saying percent, that means 100 kg iron if you take, so inside that 6.67 kg carbon you can add. After this, there will be saturation point, and above that, if you add the carbon, it will just accumulate, it will not homogeneously mix, isn't it? So that's why 6.67% carbon only we are adding in the iron carbon diagram. So for different percentage of carbon, different phases you are getting. Different phases you are getting. So these phases we will study one by one in detail. For studying that, so we will divide this phase diagram into three important parts. So these three parts we will divide like three transformations or three small diagrams we will divide. That is, first I will divide this small diagram. I will show one by one block. So this block is a peritectic transformation. Here in this block, one transformation is occurring, that is called as a peritectic transformation, and there different phases are occurring, or phases are there. One more block I will draw. So at this block, you can say different phases are there, liquid, solid, liquid plus solid phases are there, and one more transformation or reaction is occurring, that is eutectic reaction. Here peritectic reaction initially, then here eutectic reaction. One more block I will draw here. So at this third block, one more reaction is occurring, that is a eutectoid reaction. First peritectic reaction is there. Here one more reaction we have seen, that is eutectic reaction, and third eutectoid reaction. So in these three different reactions, through these three different reactions, we will see different phases in the diagram: peritectic, eutectic, and eutectoid reaction. So in chemistry, maybe you have seen or you may not be seen, these three reactions are there: eutectic, eutectoid, and peritectic reaction. So what is these reactions? First we will see, and then we will see different phases occurring at these three reactions, and this will cover all your phases present in this diagram. Okay, so peritectic transformation. What is a peritectic transformation? We will see one by one, but before that, you just tell me whether you understood whatever